says Katrina wasn't a natural disaster. It was an infrastructure disaster.
If a Category 5 hits any major American city, much like you saw with Sandy in the Northeast or you're going to see in Miami, we're going to be in a very difficult situation.
Heard there on CBS's Face the Nation, Katrina hit with sustained winds of 125 miles per hour. Reports at this hour that filmmaker Wes Craven has died. He had been battling brain cancer. The film icon was most known for A Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. Craven was 76. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Paul Bodenloss with a look at the roadways. On the inbound Edens, it's heavy between Skokie and Glenview because of crash taking out the right-hand lane. Lake Cook to the junction is 22 minutes. Also, the Edens spur ramp heading eastbound is heavy between Waukegan Road on the Tri-State spur ramp and the Edens Expressway. Kennedy inbound slowing down between O'Hare Extension and Canfield. Also pretty heavy between Ogden and the Circle interchange. O'Hare to downtown is 24 minutes. From the junction takes 13 minutes. On the inbound, Eisenhower slows down between Ashland and the Circle. Thorndale to the Circle is 30 minutes. From Manheim takes 17. Also on the Eisenhower, both directions at the Burns Circle interchange that is closed for road construction until 5 a.m. Monday morning. Taking a look at the temperatures tonight, it's 66 and partly cloudy. Tomorrow, 84 and partly cloudy. Currently, it's 73. Next update in 15 minutes on AM560 The Answer.
If you're looking for a better shooting experience, imagine shooting virtually all your firearms the same day. You can move and shoot steel, draw from the holster, or compete in a 3-gun match. You can exercise that rifle out to 600 yards, even engage in a very challenging sporting clays course or a round of trap or skeet. Do all that and much more at the Aurora Sportsman's Club. Whether you're a novice looking for a basic course or an experienced shooter looking for an advanced course, even if you want to participate in your favorite shooting event such as IDPA or cowboy action shooting, spend an enjoyable day with the family at the Aurora Sportsman's Club, the only shooting facility in the region that offers all of that and more. If that sounds interesting, don't miss the next orientation and a tour of the Aurora Sportsman's Club in Waterman, Illinois. Call the membership department at 815-264-9000 extension 44 for information. That's 815-264-9000 extension 44 to join a one-of-a-kind shooting facility. The Aurora Sportsman's Club.
For a list of complete offer details, visit howwetraderadio.com. An individual's trading strategy or personal trading does not guarantee future results or returns.
Hi, John and Pete Najarian here. You may know us from television, where we're frequently featured on CNBC as leading option experts. We have some great news you do not want to miss.
As option floor traders and co-founders of Option Monster, people always want to know our secrets for trading options.
So we wrote an entire book on it. We received over 100,000 orders over the past few months, and today we're giving away a limited number of these books for free. Just cover shipping and handling.
Learn how to use options like we do to make more income with less capital,
to reduce your investment risks,
and make money regardless of which way the market's moving.
It's all right here in this book, and today it's yours for free.
Equity options today are hailed as one of the most successful financial products to be introduced in modern times. You have to learn to profit from them.
This one book could dramatically increase your investment returns.
And today, it's free.
Call now, 1-800-600-8551. That's 1-800-600-8551. 1-800-600-8551.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it.
I have 2 words for you. Predator drones. You will never see it coming.
It's time for On Target Radio, Chicagoland's only radio show dedicated to the red meat issues that affect your life, from gun control to freedom of speech. Now, debating, debunking, and discussing today's hot issues. Here are your hosts, David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz.
Welcome to On Target Radio. Tonight, David and Gretchen will be looking at how liberalism shaped the Virginia News Crew killer, why the Bible is the foundation of U.S. law, Representative Randy Hultgren pushes for Illinois' investigation of Planned Parenthood, and the University of Tennessee wants to change the language to be gender-free. And be sure to watch segment 6 tonight, when we'll be discussing sanctuary cities. All that and more on tonight's On Target Radio. So be sure to give us a call at 312-642-5600, or go to Facebook, like our page, On Target Radio, and ask a question there.
And now, from the seething cauldron of personal opinion, It's time for David's Rant of the Week.
It didn't take Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe 3 hours to use the news crew shooting as reason to call for more gun control in that Democrat state. Would it be possible for liberals to show a few hours of respect for the live on-camera murder of a 24-year-old television reporter, Allison Parker, and her 27-year-old cameraman, Adam Ward? The two were gunned down Wednesday morning near Roanoke, Virginia, by a disgruntled ex-employee of WBDJ-TV. McAuliffe, a longtime advocate of gun control, said he is heartbroken by the senseless shooting, then immediately talked about renewing the push for expanded background checks. There are too many guns in the hands of people who should not have guns, McAuliffe told the Washington Post. McAuliffe wasn't alone. Hillary Clinton took to Twitter to share her condolences to the victims' families. Heartbroken and angry, she wrote. Then she immediately went into her diatribe on how guns are the reason for the crime, saying, "We must act to stop gun violence, and we cannot wait any longer." She wants to see tougher background checks on all firearm purchases. And let's not forget the Hollywood crowd who, because they're in movies, sing, dance, or otherwise fleece the elderly in the name of entertainment, are obviously experts on all things law enforcement, gun control, and firearm registration. The likes of Darren Criss, Ricky Gervais, Sophia Bush. Wait, is this the best that Hollywood could come up with these days? Third stringers? Really? Anyway, they all support background checks on any firearm transaction at all because, well, they actually have no idea what they're talking about, but the New York Times told them what to think, so that's good enough. Having watched a couple of them be interviewed on television, it occurred to me they don't even know what they're doing. The argument for background checks was made in the Dylan Roof Charleston church shooting last June, only to find out the weapon had been legally acquired. In fact, the shooters at Virginia Tech, the Aurora, Colorado movie theater, Fort Hood, Isla Vista, the Washington Navy Yard, and the thwarted attack on Arapahoe High School all passed background checks. It is a common thread that most mass shooters acquire their firearms legally. What's the point of background checks if it doesn't stop nutballs from acquiring firearms? And Vester Flanagan was both a certifiable nutball and passed a background check before illegally buying a Glock 19. What good did the background check do? In fact, Vester Lee Flanagan II was a nutball who saw everything that went wrong in his life as a result of racism, and this president fed that lunatic's fire. Allegedly, Flanagan had been fired from more than one job because he was difficult to work with and racist himself. Using the name Bryce Williams, a nom de plume he chose to use in his television career, Flanagan faxed a 23-page document to ABC News almost 2 hours after the shooting, in which he wrote that what triggered his murderous rampage was his reaction to the racism of the Charleston church shooting. "Why did I do it?" he wrote. "I put down a deposit for a gun on June 19th. The church shooting in Charleston happened on June 17th. What sent me over the top was the church shooting, and my hollow point bullets had the victim's initials on them." If it were a white male shooting 2 black journalists, the entire country would be up in arms, screaming racism, burning down buildings, and stealing television sets. Nobody can possibly deny the murders were racially motivated. But embarrassingly for liberals, this was a black man gunning down 2 white journalists and specifically saying it was racially motivated. "If you want a race war, bring it on," he's quoted as saying. Yet not so much as a phrase from all those liberals has been uttered with the word racism in it. The president, Governor McAuliffe, Hillary Clinton, and the press are united in their message. The problem is guns, and we need more gun control laws. The real problem is political correctness, and the American Civil Liberties Union have this country so paranoid that no one is willing to drop a dime on nutballs like Vester Lee Flanagan II. So despite being a clear and present danger to themselves and others, he and countless others like him continue to roam our streets, ticking time bombs. We don't need more gun laws. We need an administration and a Congress to get serious about getting people off the street who are a danger to public safety, but that's not politically correct. And you may one day die on some street corner because of it. Oh, and by the way, in case you haven't noticed, there are no burning stores, no looting, no riots in the street. There's a message in there somewhere if you take the time to sort it all out. And that, Gretchen, is my rant for the week.
I think that it makes me think of the chief of Interpol when he said that there's no way to restrict guns in such a way to make people safe. So it's really better to go the other way and arm as many good people as possible. Because, as you say, background checks apparently are not working in many of these cases. These people are going and legally buying guns. Either we go like with the draconian society and we take away all the guns, which we've seen in Great Britain doesn't work, or you go the other way, like the Interpol guy said. And I think that's really the only conclusion that you can come to.
Especially on Target Radio, this is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. Well, if you're in Great Britain, the answer to, gun crimes is you confiscate all the guns. And then when they keep killing people, then you confiscate knives.
Take away the knives too.
And now, of course, they've dwindled their liberties down to you actually legally can't defend yourself in Great Britain.
You actually don't have the right to self-defense. Yeah. We'll just go with that.
That's really brilliant.
That's going to solve all of our problems.
I want to see how they're going to deal with that when they, which, by the way, not to get off of this specific subject, but when they do an analysis of violent crimes in Great Britain, they always talk about nobody gets murdered by guns in Great Britain, by God. Mm-hmm. And that's true because there aren't any guns. However, they have a higher violent crime rate than we do.
Yes.
They just sort of neglect to mention it.
When they took the guns away, like armed robberies and crimes like that skyrocketed.
Of course. That's what happened in Australia. When you Rush Limbaugh had some really interesting things to say about this, and he talks about this is the payoff for this is going to touch a nerve in some people, but this is the payoff for quotas. This guy's been fired. This isn't like the first run-in he had.
Right.
He'd been fired numerous times from other stations because he's incompetent and also because he couldn't get along with people.
Right. He was the bad coworker.
Exactly. And he was hired over and over again because they had to have, they
needed
quota.
A black guy.
I didn't want to be quite that blunt,
Sorry.
but that's exactly right. And my feeling is you hire whoever's good for the job.
Yeah. And
it doesn't matter if they're black or yellow or white or whatever. I don't know. Maybe George thinks the same thing. George, how do you feel about that?
Well, what I'm calling about is, I'm diagnosed with PTSD, and, I have a carry concealed card, and I'm just wondering, I was reading about Barbara Boxer and her diatribe about the veterans, and
oh yeah,
I'm just wondering, am I going to have a problem in the future? Because I'm not a knucklehead. I'm just.
Are you linked into the VA?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, you will. That's what they're doing. I'm not being glib. We've heard a number of cases now where you get a letter. You literally get a letter, and they turn it over. Who do they turn it over to? Not Department of Justice. That must be. Is it local? I don't know.
Well, as far as the confiscation, it would probably be local. Yeah.
Will it be a confiscation, or can you give your guns to somebody else? Or
yeah, you could preemptively get rid of them.
Well, you could do it in advance, but didn't we read one guy? They actually came to his house and took his stuff.
Really?
But I'm saying if you got the letter and you acted
quickly,
preemptively,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're they're getting real sneaky about this too, because if you have PTSD, that's kind of a big thing, and I'm sorry about that. But they're just digging down in the trenches. They're pulling guys out because they have somebody handle their financial affairs.
Yeah, somebody else does the checkbook.
That's just nuts. It's disarm the people. That's what it's all about. Anyway, we're going to be back with more on Target Radio. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about this. We're going to talk about generally, is the Bible a foundation for the U.S. law? Which we believe it is. We're going to be back with that and all more on AM560, The Answer.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I'm Paul Bodenlaw. Roadways
We got Ed on the line. Our Ed. I thought Ed didn't call in.
He said he wasn't going to call. See, I told him he was a big fat liar.
Not only did he call, but he said he would have no problem waiting until the next segment.
Must be something very important then.
There he just learned the schedule and he realized we were about to go through.
All traffic's being forced to exit onto the
Or maybe he's watching us.
I'm sure you noticed this in this next article. Instead of saying pedophiles, they call them minor attracted adults. I was like, what? We have a euphemism for pedophile now?
Phrasing.
Welcome to 2015.
Oh my gosh. Just like I tell you when you learn the English language, no, the answer is no.
It's like my alma mater. You can't have the cheap or revered symbol, but it's okay to like swindle, rob, and use private emails to conduct business. Sure, that's all fine. But my God, the chief might offend something.
My money before party. My country before party. And damn it, you better.
Yeah, I was reading something. I forgot what it was. I was applying for COD. I want to take some classes there.
Yes.
And they had
something. Have dinner there quickly, because it'll be gone shortly.
What's that?
The restaurant.
No, COD.
Oh, COD.
COD.
No, wait, that's it. Yeah, it was college you paid.
He couldn't afford to go to that restaurant anyway.
What?
What are you talking about?
It's what?
They have a French restaurant there. They have a French hotel.
You haven't heard about this?
No.
You don't read the paper.
No, I don't.
Oh, there you go.
See,
nothing like being in journalism and not reading the paper. Bruder, he was president, right? Yeah. Bruder was president of the college, making some unbelievable amount of money with an expense account that let him go on hunting trips and all kinds of stuff. And he started, because they have a culinary arts program, he started a restaurant, which is like a 5-star type restaurant that the students never saw. And he would go there with an open expense account, bring all of his buddies to eat. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, wasn't it?
You remember what led to all the disclosure about all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
The campus radio station that they had, the guy who was operating it was billing them as a separate company.
Right. So if you're going to go to COD, hurry up so you can have a meal like that before they.
Well, what I was getting at was on one of the.
Well, it was always losing money.
Well, that's the other thing. How can you have this? And people say it's a great restaurant. How can you have a great restaurant?
Regardless of the food, I was getting to the gender thing. Something on one of the application like forms online had worded something about that, like your gender identity. You know, the way they worded it on it was kind of funny.
Absolutely.
Like which gender do you identify with, or something? Like, I don't really remember.
However, the good news is Trump is rapidly disassembling the entire political correctness spectrum. He's just tearing it to shreds and ripping it off the wall.
Yeah. It's like political correctness? What political correctness?
Try Live Watch now by calling 1-800-500-9903. That's
If nothing else happens with this guy, I will love him for what he did to that journalist.
On Target Radio on AM560 with David and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more on Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. And before we get into the next pithy subject, our old friend Ed, who through the grapevine said he couldn't call in tonight, is sitting here waiting on the phone. So Ed,
he called it.
You gotta explain why you're calling.
Gretchen's mother caught me at the Will County Fair, and I said I have to take down the booth at the fair. We're doing this straw poll on Trump and all the other.
I know, we were there.
And Gretchen's mother says you better call in. So I'm calling in to support your rant, Dave, and I want to cite a peer-reviewed study that came out last month. In Florida and Texas, carry concealed permit holders are convicted of misdemeanor or felonies at 1/6 the rate of police officers are convicted.
Wow.
And when you analyze the level of permit holders, for each 1% point increase of the adult population holding permits in states, that's roughly associated with a 25% drop in the murder rate.
That's pretty good calculating.
That's fantastic.
I think the interesting takeaway from that whole thing, however, is that you have to mention that rate is less than the general population.
Oh yeah, it's a huge difference between permit holders and the general population. But permit holders are more law abiding than the police are.
Yes.
Well, that's I don't
In
know.
many ways, that's not all that surprising.
I'm not going to
Now,
even go down that
you
road.
all want the scoop on who won the corn poll at the Will County?
All right. Now here's the thing.
I saw it on Facebook.
I find it hard to believe. Gretchen said that you counted each kernel of corn.
Well, actually, when we got to Trump's jar, it was full. We had to split it up among four of us, and it took us 15 minutes. Four of us counting all the kernels.
Well, we know who won then.
Well, Trump had 1,945 kernels of corn. The next highest was Ben Carson with 320. Trump had 61% of the vote.
So he crushed.
I'm going to make two comments. The first comment was, whoever thought of using kernels of corn for a straw poll, it was very difficult to explain to people. I would say, would you take our straw poll using these kernels of corn? The other thing I want to say is,
it was a corny idea.
It was a corny idea, yeah. The other thing is this, Don, the more this guy goes, did you see what he did to that journalist that was, giving him heat? It was astounding. I mean, candidates don't talk like that to journalists. And then he finally threw him out. I mean, you got to love this guy. You just got to love him. He's busting down all this liberalism.
I hate to burst Ed's bubble, but on our watch, when Dave and I were at the table, a woman misunderstood the idea of the straw poll, and she grabbed a handful and started contributing to a few different jars. So unfortunately, your numbers aren't really on, but that's how a straw poll is anyway.
But if it was a full jar, that's
right.
Even her little handful didn't make a big difference. Well, Ed, thanks. I appreciate the call. And what am I going to say? We got John from Crete on the line. John, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
We're doing good. You got 15 seconds. Hurry.
Well, I want to talk about, there was some minister talking about guns earlier on WND, and they said, well, we can't have the judges outlaw the Second Amendment because then they'll outlaw the First. That's similar to the homosexual argument in the Catholic Church. People say, well, you can't allow homosexuality because then if you allow it, then you allow polygamy. You've got to identify each case and quit. Don't talk about the First Amendment. We must protect the Second Amendment. And also, Stephanie Rowley Blake. She is the president of the Mayor's Conference of USA, the secretary of the Democratic National Committee. She's supposed to give a talk for Hillary Clinton, and she was at 25, the youngest councilman elected. The previous one was thrown out for embezzlement. And she still has had to criticize that she allowed the police to be attacked with the shields. If the government is lawful, then our guard are the police. President Roosevelt said when the bombing of Pearl Harbor, it'll be a day of infamy. When she let those police who represent us just take hands at them, it was bad. It was bad. And then also, I live near Madison. There are a lot of blacks there. They fired 37 shots at each other. So the police let them stay in their house. It was a standoff, 3 hours. In the 1950s, police would say, "We're giving you 5 minutes to get out of there, or we're coming in." So I think that this false appreciation for black people in that isn't good.
John, we appreciate your comments as always. Thanks for calling, and have a great evening. I'm not exactly sure where that went, but
well, I do agree with this one point. I think what he meant to say was that when you start accepting immorality, there's no place to draw a line anymore, and that kind of actually segues with what we were going to talk about.
Well, and you're absolutely right. That is what we're going to talk about. You're listening to On Target Radio. This is AM560 The Answer. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. We do have a comment about the shooting. Joe from Chicago has some thoughts on that. Joe, what do you have?
Yeah, hi. Couple of things. I'm pro Second Amendment totally, but I do feel kind of upset about this. And, I don't know what could be done, but my other comment kind of cuts the other way. Like 40, 50 years ago, homosexuality was considered a psychological disorder. And now it's celebrated. So this guy started to go off the rails. He was gay. And, he just went farther and farther. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Our culture is evolving, and this president has done all he could to exacerbate it, if not really run it down the line as fast as possible. I think you put that thing on my Facebook page, didn't you? About
yes,
it's a really interesting observation.
It's on the on Target Radio page too. It was a meme that had a picture of the murderer, and it said that awkward moment when you want to use a shooting for your liberal agenda, but the shooter is a gay black male who voted for Obama and acquired his gun legally.
Oops.
Yeah, it doesn't really support the narrative in the way that they would like.
And you notice how everybody's responded, from the president to Hillary Clinton to the press. Nobody brings up the subject of racism. It's about the guns now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Whereas if it would have been a reverse in ethnicity, we'd be on the racism kick. So, that anybody doesn't see through this, although Obama's polls are pretty low, and Hillary's polls numbers have tanked.
Yeah. It seems like some people are finally waking up.
May well be.
On the Hillary one.
May well be. We were actually going to want to talk a little bit about the Bible as being the foundation of morality. When you look at our laws, basically our laws are founded on the 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fundamentally what the laws are founded on.
Yeah.
And despite the fact that liberals keep trying to tell us that the founding fathers weren't Christian and all, that's nonsense. Some of them weren't Christian, but they all believed in a deity, and they all believed in, the 10 Commandments are the thing to follow.
Right. Most of them, went with a Judeo-Christian ethic,
Or they supported it if they weren't particularly,
Right. Case in point, George Washington said, reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail in exclusion of religious principle. So basically, if you don't have religious principles, you won't have true morality. Like nationally in general,
Sure.
You can't have a society with morality without religion.
Somebody made the comment, this is maybe a month or so ago, and we mentioned it on the show, but it bears repeating, and that is, basically, our laws are, for all intents and purposes, an honor system.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. And
they told us in the police academy, what we really want is voluntary compliance.
Exactly. That's right. Which is what's his name? Harry Reid said about the tax code. He goes, it's voluntary.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you don't mind going to jail, it is. But the point is well taken. Really, it is a voluntary system because there's not enough police to control it otherwise. People basically have to feel there's a higher calling. We're going to be back. We'll talk about that. And we're going to talk about a couple other things that we got coming up here. Like Randy Hultgren is really pushing to look into Planned Parenthood. So give us a call, 312-642-5600. We'll be back with more on Target Radio. And you're listening to AM560 The Answer.
On Wednesday, September 16th, the Republican president.
To be fair, it's voluntary if your chairman is away. It's
And then there's that too. There's that too.
Watch the debate on the big screen. Hey, John's on his meds tonight.
What?
John's on his meds tonight.
Oh yeah,
He was quick.
He has brought up that woman's name before, and I didn't understand it before either.
Yeah, Stephanie Riley Blake is the mayor of Baltimore, I think.
Oh, okay.
She's the one. What he does is he elaborates on completely unrelated tangential stuff, and then tries to bring it back, but it's so hard to follow through
What he
that.
usually has is like some sort of fragile thread that
leads over that corner.
Everything is linked.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of think about it. I was lost on that one.
Yeah.
I really was.
See, I've got enough cycle friends where I follow.
And I don't understand, like, what is his ongoing beef with her? Like, okay, seriously, the riots are over in Baltimore. We've moved on to the next.
Sean
crisis.
tends to conflate, I think, everything with everything. So
yeah,
when you find
he's the guy
a
from-
villain
He's
and you're
the
nuts,
guy upon which conspiracy theory was based.
right.
I'm dying. I'd like to know what this guy does pay the bills.
I'd like to meet him without him knowing that it's me.
Right. I would too.
That's right. I would, we should be like, Alan and Bruce and go meet them.
You know what we'll do? We'll have a contest, and the winner will be able to have dinner with George, and we'll just make him laugh. And then George can tell us all about it.
Also on the we have to find a very public place.
Yeah. That's what, remember,
Rubber wall.
That doesn't have a no.
it was before you got, maybe you had to take care of it, I didn't have it yet. And he said, we should start doing a thing where we tell people on the air where we're going to have dinner before the show, and then if they want to come join us, they can just
Oh, yeah, I remember
show
that.
up.
Yeah.
And I said, can we wait until after we get concealed carry?
Right.
I remember you saying that.
Please, I'm like, I'm the one that had the death threat, so I would like to be honored.
I know Dave's still sore about that. That's right. I've had a couple of that threats. Not here.
That I understand.
Not here.
Yes, that I understand from your wife, probably.
It's like my mother-in-law.
How'd it come out?
AM560 on target radio co-host David.
He took a picture. He took a picture of us.
No,
from
because
the
you
blue.
leaned over as I was taking a picture.
Yeah, you dropped my head.
He took a picture of us putting on our hats.
You gotta get that up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Did
Did you share it to ours?
I can share it, I think, because You can post it. probably
Yeah,
still.
or you can post it again on our So are we going to keep going on the Bible? Or
Well, there's a few things in here I think are worth mentioning, but
Yeah.
actually it sort of
And I
leads
don't-
into Planned
I
Parenthood.
don't think the Planned Parenthood one is that rich. So
I think it leads into it.
right, but I don't think we need to spend the whole segment on that.
I wanted to spend the next 10 shows on it.
Teaching you to own it.
I was gonna bring in body parts.
For over 100 years, the Illinois Association has supported the rights and freedoms of Illinois citizens to keep and bear arms. For over 100 years, the ISRA has supported the use of firearms as a sport for personal protection and as a fundamental aspect of national defense. For over 100 years, the Illinois State Rifle Association has been supporting you. Don't you think it's time you supported them? ISRA.org or 815-635-3198. The Illinois State Rifle Association, supporting you.
Kitchen need a makeover? Tired of your outdated bathroom? Did a big box store raise more questions than answers? The answer is Stone City. 2 million square feet of marble and granite countertops in 50 colors starting at $26 a square foot installed. Plus the latest appliances, cabinetry, faucets, and fixtures. Stone City designers transform your dream into reality. Stone City, 3053 West Grand in Chicago, or call 773-533-9806. That's 773-533-9806. Stone City, it's your home, only better.
Here's some great news. Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates can help you with your retirement game plan. You know Jack, or you should. Jack is the president and founder of Tabota & Associates. He's been helping folks just like you retire successfully for 3 decades. Jack has the insight, information, strategies, and experience you can use to build wealth and keep it. Live good. Retire well with Jack Tabota of Tabota & Associates. 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955.
Set sail with Newt Gingrich. Get aboard the Elegant Crystal Symphony for a spectacular 7-day cruise from New York to Montreal. At the same time, enjoy stimulating seminars on politics and investment. Our guests include Newt Gingrich, Mark Skousen, John Ransom, and Chris Versace. And everything's included. We set sail September 13th through the 20th. Join us for the Politics in Your Portfolio cruise. Log on to politicsandyourportfolio.com for all the details. politicsandyourportfolio.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
Hi, and we're back. I'm Rick Cizek, Advertising Sales Director for the On Target Media Group. If you own a small business and need more exposure to potential customers, and what small business doesn't, we can help. For over 2.5 years, the On Target Media Group has been helping small businesses grow. We offer many different and affordable marketing packages through our partnership program. Plus, we can even create a custom program tailored to your business's needs. To find out more, contact me today at sales.ontargetradio@gmail.com or visit our website at otmediagroup.net/sponsorship. We look forward to helping your business reach its target.
Well, we certainly do, don't we?
We do.
We look forward to our business reaching its target, of staying on the air.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be really great. When we left before the break, we were talking about the Bible and how it's a fundamental for the law. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, if you have some thoughts on that. For instance, can we have laws? Can we have structure? Can we have government without the morality of the Bible backing it? And that's kind of the concept or the philosophy that liberalism promotes. That any form of religion should be removed entirely from the public discourse, and the merits, any given law or any given more, should fundamentally be based just on the merit of itself.
They promote moral relativism.
Exactly.
In general. Yeah, I also would like to read this quote from John Adams. I lost it. I lost it. Where'd it go? Okay, forget it.
I would make a comment about you lost it, but I won't.
Oh, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other.
See, here's an interesting thing. This is not something, as much as I berate Barack Obama, this is not something that started with Barack Obama.
No.
Lincoln once said, the philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of the government of the next.
Yes.
And they've been chipping away at this since probably the 60s. Well, since really,
earlier than that.
Yeah,
the 30s, really.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it's true. And Stalin, a great quote from Stalin, it's true.
Well,
Stalin said, America is a healthy body and its resistance is threefold. It's patriotism, its morality, and its spiritual life. If we can undermine these three areas, America will collapse from within. And that's exactly what they've been doing.
Yes. The documentary that I reference all the time, they talk about that the communists and the socialists, today's liberals or progressives, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same thing. They came up with an agenda of how to destroy America from within. And that's what it was. It was promote homosexuality, normalize homosexuality, discredit the Bible and religion, all of these things that they've been doing.
So it raises this question that I found intriguing. And the question is this. Those who believe in moral relativism, they believe that it's okay to kill the unborn, to kill a baby, okay, a fetus.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay, then why is it not okay for me to be able to kill one of them?
Right. Or anyone that you choose to.
Right. I mean, if you can kill one living thing, then why can't you kill another one? Where do you draw the line? Who determines that? Where's the determination made that this is okay and that's not?
Exactly. And that's what the Nazis did. They convinced the German people that were involved that the Jews were a lower form of life, that their lives did not have value, and so they could do whatever they wanted with them.
Exactly.
They can conduct experiments, they could kill them, they could throw them in a prison camp and, maybe feed them, maybe not feed them, because they had convinced themselves that their lives didn't matter.
Right. And, this is what's happening now. Look at cops. How many cops have been killed in the past two months?
I saw a thing on Facebook that there's been like 7 cops killed in the last 10 weeks or something like that.
I mean, it's really, really becoming chaotic. This whole moral relativism thing, Planned Parenthood really hinges on that.
It really does.
And at best, I used to think it hinged on that. It's gotten now we're actually selling parts from live fetuses.
Right. I mean, they're pure evil, in my opinion.
I'm not easily shocked, but
Right.
I watched every one of those.
You have to be completely heartless.
Yeah.
To do that.
And they're laughing.
To be involved in that.
They were laughing. Yeah. And you look at, they got this little fetus, this little baby on a platter, on a tray. I mean, it's got eyes and nose, and I mean, it's a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about taking parts from it. That astounds me. So anyway, our congressman Randy Hultgren is of course he's federal, but he's backing behind the idea that Illinois should be looking very closely at the Planned Parenthood, and a bill has been introduced by State Rep Gene Ives, who's a Republican from Wheaton, specifically to look into the whole Planned Parenthood thing and the abortion selling children. We'll talk about this when we come back. Although I definitely want to talk about the next thing that's online. But we'll be back with more on Target Radio after a few messages, and you're listening to AM560, The Answer.
My page is full, and I'm like, where'd my phone go? It was right there. It's not good video.
Did you see this number? They get $500 million a year, and they do 350,000 abortions. I'd like to know how many of those are black. I would think so. Because most white folks, if they're going to have one, go to the doctor where they get per personal care.
You're smiling.
Huh?
I just found the greatest video of all time.
What?
You ever heard of Ron Winginger? No. He's a stunt pilot who works for Delta Airlines pilot. He's a stunt pilot at air shows.
Yeah.
But his act is rushing onto the airfield as if he were drunk and stealing a plane.
I've seen that. I didn't know that was his name was.
That is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's posted that Facebook. Yeah,
and he gets in an airplane and
he takes off, he scrapes the wing.
What's his name?
Ron Winginger.
I never.
It's a good name for a stunt pilot.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually, I don't know it. That's the name of the person who posted it.
Oh.
But I assume that's him because it looked like it was a page. But anyway, but yeah, that's just the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is good.
That's awesome.
I might have seen it once. I remember.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it.
It's great. It's great. Way to kill it. Thanks, guys.
One of my favorite comics ever was what was his name? Years ago, Play the Drunk.
Ron Waite?
No, way before that.
I'm not talking about Lenny Bruce.
I know this is before my time. Before I was born, probably.
Oh, what was his name? He's the guy who's sitting in a bar at an airport, and he's talking to Johnny Carson. Oh no, it was Dean Martin. Something Dean Martin.
Okay.
And Dean goes, he's drinking. He's obviously totally fucked. And he goes, oh, I gotta go to work now.
You're not talking about Red Skull.
No. That's the right ear.
Okay.
And Dean goes, oh, what do you do for work? I'm an airline pilot. What the hell was his name? He'll come to me.
There's some European.
Brooks.
We have a vacation fund for a refrigerator.
No.
Go ahead.
I don't know. For my time.
There's a
Sometimes it only takes one home system or appliance breakdown to bust your budget.
Somebody out there on YouTube can leave a comment and let us know.
Because they help pay your covered repairs for you. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800.
It is a good thing you recovered though, because that was about 3 seconds.
Repairs for things like your air conditioner, refrigerator, plumbing, oven, or
Foster Brooks.
The budget protection you deserve from
George
Home Shield. It's up to you. Pay expensive home system and appliance repairs, or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. Protect more of your hard-earned money. For valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to That's ahs.com or call 1-800-552-2216. 1-800-552-2216.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. Give us a call, 312-642-5600. Before we went to the break, we were talking about Randy Hultgren is backing action in Illinois to look at Planned Parenthood, at their procedures, the abortions and all that. Interesting number. Planned Parenthood receives more than $500 million from U.S. taxpayers, and they perform 350,000 abortions every year. And as we were saying on the break, Gretchen, how many of that, what percentage of that do you think are black people?
Probably more than half.
Oh, I would think so, yeah.
Not only that, but it's like, okay, how can you be doing that and still call yourself a nonprofit? I don't understand how anyone in the government, I mean, I know Democrats don't really care about what's right and what's wrong and following the Constitution and the law and all that stuff, but they get that money under the auspices of being a nonprofit organization that is providing healthcare services to women. And it's a total ruse. It's like a front. It's like a mob front.
It is. Well, it's the woman that really sticks in my mind, because they're all kind of nutty, but the one they're not haggling, but they're discussing price.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy says, well, how much do you want for this? And she says, I want to be able to buy a Lamborghini. Dead serious. She's on the dish, flat dead serious. She wasn't joking.
Right.
That's the kind of profit margin she wants.
Right. And you buy a Lamborghini at $300 a pop.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Well, exactly.
Do the math. It's not very complicated.
Yeah.
It's really, it's sad, it's sick, it's discouraging. I can't even tell you how disturbed I am about this.
We got a call from Luis from Chicago about religion and morality. Is that right, Luis?
Hi guys. I agree with what you're saying, and the only point I wanted to make is, the ones who trouble me, not only the liberals, but are these libertarians. These people claim to be for freedom, but yet they believe in this moral relativism. They say, well, you can't let religion, you have to separate religion, and I think they're worse than liberals, because you say you're for something, and you're taking away the foundation of it. I mean, even our Declaration of Independence says our freedoms are from God. So how can you separate the two? So I know libertarians support gun, owning guns, but I mean, when you get into these moral issues, I think it's like almost like they're working against it.
Well, I think you're right. There's a concerted effort on, and it's hard to know who's playing into it and who isn't. But there's a concerted effort to break down the moral culture of this society, and everybody has their little picadillos. I mean, let's face it, people, no one's perfect. But historically, you knew you were doing something that wasn't right. And we go back, we talked about Richard Nixon many times.
Yeah.
When Nixon got discovered, that man was humiliated. I mean, truly humiliated. Now it was crooked. There's no doubt about it. He thought he could get away with it, but he was humiliated when he got caught. You don't see that.
And the things that he did pale in comparison to the things that the Democrats do nowadays.
It's like a joke. It's like a joke to compare the two. But they love to do it. Well, Nixon did that. Well, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that people my age like that, they don't even bother bringing that up anymore, because people my age and younger that has no meaning for them.
Well, sure. But see, here's the thing. This last little piece that we're going to do in this segment is they're changing the vocabulary. I mean, this doesn't stand by itself. This is part and parcel to the whole picture. By shaping people into thinking differently.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even pronounce
it. What was it in 1984? The
Newspeak.
Was it Newspeak?
I think it was Newspeak, wasn't it?
I think that sounds right.
I think so. Yeah. Okay, so University of Tennessee has decided that I like this. In the boldest endorsement of a growing national trend, the University of Tennessee is urging incoming students and teachers to junk references to he, she, and them in favor of gender-neutral Z. I don't know how to. I told you I looked up how to pronounce this, and there was like a 20-page or so document on how to pronounce.
It's like a master's thesis or something.
But here's the bottom line. The bottom line to this is they want to do away with the terms he, she, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And replace it with Z and whatever it is. Now, my question about this is this. If you're replacing he with Z, what the heck is the difference?
Well, because Z it's both.
Well, what's the other Z?
He and she is now Z.
And what's XE?
What was that one? That's them.
You know what this reminds me of? A Monty
I
Python.
had to consult the document because otherwise,
This reminds
obviously
me
I don't believe in this.
of a Monty Python sketch where he says, "I know my name is spelled Raymond Luxury Yacht, but it's pronounced Throat Warbler Mangrove." I mean, this is typical nonsense. It's just, and here's the best part of this whole thing says, where is it? It says they're encouraging students to continue the practice off campus. Quote, "This practice works outside of the classroom as well. You can start meetings with requesting introductions that include names and pronouns. You get to pick your own pronoun.
Yeah.
Introducing yourself with your name and chosen pronoun, or when providing name tags, ask attendants to write in their name and pronoun." I have to tell people he.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. It says, when in the first weeks of class, instead of calling roll, ask everyone to provide their name and preferred pronoun.
We're going to be back, and it'll still be he and she when we return. But we'll be back with more on Tiger Radio. We'll wrap this whole thing up. And what else can I say? You're listening to AM560, The Answer.
Hi. My name is Pat, and
Why don't you do your thing with Z and Z?
I have a modest suggestion. Why not use XX and XY?
There you go. That's
no, because
that's the point.
That is my
That's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I can't figure out how to pronounce this. I looked it up.
I was gonna be like, on the first day of class, my name is Gretchen. I prefer she. I have a vagina.
but I also.
I think Lake Halibut.
I have like a little dick. I don't know.
Everybody just assumes that.
This reminds me, what was that bizarre language they came up with?
Esperanto.
Esperanto.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's just like
Esperanto.
Esperanto.
Invent a global language.
Right off
Was
the
it Esperanza?
Went right off
No,
the cliff.
Esperanto.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone in the world was going to
It was
speak one
gonna
language.
be the world language. Yeah.
That tanked in about 1 year.
What's the best way to
The funny thing is, how do I even know that? I was born in 72.
Because it's ridiculous.
I was born in 82 and I
It's a
don't
fucking
know.
joke.
Okay, so my action items are really long. I've got like 245.
Shit,
Anybody want to take bets on when Russ walks in?
reunions?
I know they had a game late tonight.
He's going to be in at
Oh yeah, the cups are at 7.
I can do Russ's show. I can do Russ's show.
But he's not going to walk it. He's going to run. He's going to do Russ's show.
Oh hell yeah!
I will sabotage you so bad.
Oh,
you don't have to like all those things.
Yeah, really.
Pretty much. Make sure your
We can talk about sports-related issues that we don't know anything about.
Yeah, you two can talk sports, and I'll just.
I know nothing about
sports the board.
I want to hear you guys talk about sports.
I certainly don't.
I'll just call it out. Chicago Cubs. Let's go.
Customers say they would order from us again. Visit.com.
You're listening to On Target Radio on AM560 The Answer with David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz. Here's David and Gretchen with more interesting conversation on gun control, concealed carry, freedom of speech, and other red meat issues that affect your life.
And we're back with more On Target Radio. We're looking for an intern to work the show with us. It's a volunteer position, but you'll learn all aspects of the business. We'd love to find maybe a senior in high school or a college student who'd like to do an internship, maybe somebody from Columbia College. And you get to learn a little bit of everything. Call screening, we'll give you some on-air time. You'll learn to, produce. And
We'll teach you how to write spots and copy.
I thought you meant we're going to teach them to write. Hopefully if they're...
Teach them how to write copy.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. We have a good time, right?
We do.
Yes, we have a good time. Right, Rick?
Yes,
Say yes.
yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Okay.
I'm
Meanwhile,
here.
what can you do in the upcoming week?
Stand by. Here's Gretchen with your action items for the week.
September is Events Month for On Target Radio. Join On Target Radio at a fundraiser for the Illinois State Rifle Association on Thursday, September 10th from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Joliet Country Club. Beer, soft drinks, and light food will be served. Tickets are $35 and can be purchased at the door. The 17th Annual Sporting Clays Tournament to benefit Ronald McDonald House Charities will be Saturday and Sunday, September 12th and 13th at the Northbrook Sports Club in Haynesville, Illinois. Join them for a fun-filled day of shooting, side event challenges, a silent auction, raffles, and delicious cookouts both days. To register or for more information, go to rmhccni.org/sportingclays. I put the link on our Facebook page earlier today. Join On Target Radio on Saturday, September 19th for the Fox Valley Friends of the NRA fundraiser dinner at Gaslight Manor Banquet Hall in Aurora. We will literally all be there. David, Gretchen, George, Rick, and even frequent contributor Ed Ronkowski. Doors open for raffles and silent auction at 4 p.m. Dinner is served at 7. Tickets are $50 per person and include a 3-course plated dinner. To buy tickets, go to friendsofnra.org, call 815-825-3070, or email foxvalleyfnra@gmail.com. I put the link on our Facebook page earlier today. The 2015 Zombie Shoot at the Aurora Sportsman's Club will be Saturday, September 26th. They will let you shoot zombies any way you like, with a pistol, rifle, shotgun, muzzleloader, or bow and arrow. Save the date. The women's holster class that I teach is changing to a girls' night-in format only. The class addresses firearm selection, rationale for female-specific holsters, demonstration of about 9 holsters, and plenty of time to try on holsters and discuss concealed carry. If you would like to schedule a fun, informative get-together for 4 or more women, contact me or David directly by email, phone, or Facebook. The following Safer USA classes are all at our office in Waterman. Saturday, September 5th, Illinois Concealed Carry 2, taught by Gretchen, for those who have an exemption for the first 8 hours. Saturday and Sunday, September 5th and 6th, NRA Pistol Instructor, taught by David. Saturday and Sunday, September 12th and 13th, Illinois Concealed Carry 1. This 16-hour class will be taught by David and Gretchen and meets the training requirements for Illinois Concealed Carry, as well as Florida, Arizona, and Utah. To sign up for classes, go to saferusa.com and click on register.
And Rick, we have segment 6 tonight.
Yes, we do. You can find that. We're going to be talking about the Planned Parenthood stuff. Yes, stuff. Sorry. Yes, we'll be able to find that. YouTube.
No, we're talking about sanctuary cities.
I was wondering if someone was going to bring this up.
No.
Why did
Sanctuary
I don't know why I
cities.
had that in my head. Sorry. Yes, sanctuary cities.
We're looking for an intern.
That was
Actually, now
close.
we're looking
Yes.
for 2 interns.
We're looking for an intern and a social media coordinator.
All right, we got to go. Thank you for listening. Anyway, yes, we're talking about sanctuary cities. And thank you for listening to On Target Radio. And be sure to listen next week when we'll be covering the red meat issues that affect your life. Actually, next week we're going to have on.
We're going to be talking about the ISRA fundraiser at the Joliet Country Club.
Exactly.
We'd like to thank George Hoffman on the board, our social media coordinator, Rick Zizek, and our sponsors, DS Arms, the Illinois State Rifle Association, the Aurora Sportsman's Club, Stone City Kitchen and Bath Design Center, and Safer USA.
And as always, we want to thank Mike for making it all happen.